Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. At this time, I would like to ask everyone who is able to stand and join us as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will now call our meeting to order. At this time, if you haven't already, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. For those of you who do not have a copy of the agenda or who are attending for the very first time, we will address cases that are first on consent. These are cases that have been reviewed by the board and by the professionals from various departments in the county and to which there is no known opposition at this time. We have discussed these cases in our work sessions. Certain staff comments and stipulations have been made, and we do not anticipate any further discussion is needed for a decision. So as we go forward, the County Zoning Division Manager, Mr. John Peterson, will read each case into the record. Mr. Peterson will then ask you to raise your hand as your case is called to signify that you are present. If you are here in opposition to a case that is currently on consent, Mr. Peterson will also ask you to identify yourself as that case is read into record. When we will then pull that case off of the consent agenda and hear it as part of our regular case agenda. We will then vote on all of the cases still on consent at one time. Once we have approved the cases on consent, we will move to our regular case agenda. With that, Mr. Peterson, will you please get us started?
Sure. Before we begin the consent agenda, I do have one announcement to make. Variance case V152 of 2025, Grace Resurrection Methodist Church, Inc. That case has been withdrawn without prejudice, so V152 of 2025 will not be heard today. And with that, Madam Chair and Board, I'm ready to start the consent agenda. Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals variance hearing consent agenda for December 10th, 2025. First case on consent is variance case V116, Jennifer Wolf. Request a variance to 1, reduce the front setback from required 45 feet to 43 feet, and number 2, increase the maximum height of a retaining wall from required 6 feet to 12 feet in land lots 1264 and 1265 of the 16th district. The property is located on the north side of River Ridge Chase, west of Pippin Mill Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, revised site plan dated November 21st, 2025. And number 2, retaining wall to be completely on the applicant's property. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V116? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V140, Diego Costa requests a variance to reduce rear setback from required 35 feet to 30 feet in land lot 412 of the 16th district. Property is located on the east side of Coral Drive, north of Bridle Path. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to the variance case of V140? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V141, Jennifer Bergener requests a variance to, number 1, allow for 2 accessory structures, which is a garage number 1 and garage number 2, to be located on a residential property without a principal building. And number 2, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is garage number 2 from required 100 feet to 6 feet adjacent to the northern property line in land lot 683 of the 19th district. The property is located on the east side of Old Villa Rica Road, north of Bagley Forest Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to traffic comments. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V141? We got one opposed. Okay, Madam Chair and Board, we got one opposed to V141. So we'll pull 141 off the agenda and put it in its regular order. Okay. Okay, next case is V142, Eleanor Hochberg requests a variance to increase the maximum allowable impervious coverage from 35% to 48% in land lot 4 of the First District. The property is located on the northeast side of Chattahoochee Plantation Drive, east of Chattahoochee Lane. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V142? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. V143, North Atlanta Installation, requests a variance to increase the maximum allowable square footage for a wall sign face from required 200 square feet to 282.2 square feet in land lot 402 of the 19th District. The property is located on the northwest side of Powder Springs Road, east of John Ward Road. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V143? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V144, Advanced Scapes requests a variance to allow an accessory use, which is a proposed pool and deck to be located closer to the road than the principal building in land lot 582 of the 19th District. The property is located on the northwest corner of Moon Road and Greens Lane. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, traffic comments. Number 2, stormwater management comments. And number 3, to be inspected by stormwater management prior to the certificate of completion. Is the applicant present? Applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V144? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. V145, Christopher Hembry requests a variance to waive the side setback from required 10 feet to 8 feet adjacent to the southern property line in land lot 456 of the 16th District. The property is located on the east side of Plains Way, east of Plains Court. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case of V145? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V146, Braves Development Company LLC requests a variance to, number 1, allow for an electronic sign to be used as a wall sign. Number 2, increase the maximum allowable square footage for wall signs per face from required 200 square feet to 290.98 square feet. And number 3, increase the maximum allowable square footage for the electronic messaging portion of a sign from required 32 square feet to 290.98 square feet in land lots 944 and 983 of the 17th District. The property is located on the southern corner of Windy Ridge Parkway and Interstate North Circle. The applicant and staff recommends approval. And the applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V146? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V147, William Albert Murner and Sabrina Isabel Murner request a variance to increase the maximum allowable impervious coverage from required 35% to 39.93%. And number 2, allow an accessory use, which is proposed pool equipment, to be located on the side of the principal building in land lot 29 of the 1st District. The property is located on the east side of Monsio Way and on the west side of Childers Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V147? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V148, David Yenarelli requests a variance to 1, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an existing 176 square foot building with a porch from required 10 feet to 3 feet adjacent to the northeastern property line. Number 2, reduce the setback from required 10 feet to 5 feet adjacent to the southwestern property line. Number 3, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an existing pool equipment facility from required 5 feet to 0 feet adjacent to the southwestern property line. Number 4, allow an accessory use, which is existing pool equipment to be located to the side of the principal building. And number 5, increase the maximum allowable impervious coverage from 35% to 41.9% in land lot 542 of the 19th District. The property is located at the terminus of Bellringer Lane, north of Mondavi Place. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, traffic comments. Number 2, stormwater management comments. And number 3, to be inspected by stormwater management prior to the certificate of completion. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V148? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V149, Trailside Equities LLC, requests a variance to reduce the front setback from required 45 feet to 35 feet in land lot 112 of the 20th District. The property is located on the east side of Little Port Lane, west of Noon Tide Way. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, traffic comments. Number 2, stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V149? We got 2. So we have 2 opposed to variance case 149. So pull 149 off consent and put it in its regular order, Madam Chair and Board. Okay, variance case V150, Juan Figueroa and Yali Liu request a variance to 1, reduce the front setback from required 100 feet to 96 feet. Number 2, reduce the front setback from required 25 feet to 15 feet adjacent to the northern property line. And number 3, reduce the side setback from required 25 feet to 7 feet adjacent to the southern property line in land lot 1260 of the 16th District. The property is located on the west side of Atlanta Country Club Drive, west of Wingfoot Circle. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, stormwater management comments. Number 2, plantings to be installed along the south property line where the encroachment is, to be approved by the county landscape architect. Is the applicant present? Is the applicant here for V150, Juan Figueroa and Yali Liu? Is there anyone here opposed to this case? Madam Chair and Board, the applicant is not present and there's no one here opposed. Would it be the board's desire just to leave this one on consent? Okay, so just leave that one on consent. All right. Next case is variance case V153, Regency Centers Corporation. Request a variance to 1, reduce parking spaces from required 591 spaces to 351 spaces. Number 2, increase the maximum allowable impervious coverage from required 70% to 96%. Number 3, increase the maximum allowable floor area ratio from required 0.25% to 0.3. And number 4, waive the 8-foot landscape enhancement strip along Delk Road in land lot 925 of the 17th District. The property is located on the south side of Delk Road, east of Paris Ferry Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to 1, traffic comments, 2, stormwater management comments, and number 3, fire department comments. Is the applicant present? Applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V153? And let the record show there's no one opposed. And last case on the agenda is variance case V154, Plain Danielle Chavon. Request a variance to reduce the rear setback from required 40 feet to 27 feet in land lot 1065 of the 16th District. The property is located on the west side of Coventry Township Place, north of Barnes Mill Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V154? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. And that completes the consent agenda, Madam Chair and Board, with V141 and V149 pulled off consent and put in their regular order.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns from any members of this board? If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Swanson, second by Ms. Summer. Please, call to question, please. It passes 5-0.
Okay.
All right. For those of you whose case, let me get back on the mic. For those of you whose case was on consent, you are now free to go. If you do leave, please do so quickly and quietly so that we may proceed with our regular case agenda. We'll give you a few moments to do so. Thank you, thank you.
Madam Chair, can you note that I'm recusing from 113, which I think is your first called case?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. We'll give our District 1 Commissioner time to exit before we start with our regular case agenda. While he exits, I'll go ahead and start with our information to explain how we proceed with our case agenda, because we are now ready to proceed with that. Our procedure here is that Mr. Peterson will read a case into record. The applicant and/or representative of the applicant who wishes to speak will be asked to come forward to be sworn in. Likewise, anyone wishing to speak in opposition or support will be asked to come forward to be sworn in as well. The applicant in opposition will have a total of 10 minutes to present their case, regardless of the number of individuals speaking for either side. All testimony must be given from the podium to my right, where full AV capabilities are available. Please be sure to speak into the mic so that we can clearly hear you. Following the presentations, members of the board may ask questions directed at either party. Please note that once the comments from all parties have concluded and the public hearing has been formally closed, no further comments will be permitted unless specifically requested by a member of the board. If you are called upon, you'll be asked to return to the podium to my right to respond. With that, Mr. Peterson, we are ready for our first case.
Okay, first case we're going to hear today is variance case V113, Burn Boot Camp, Lost Mountain, request a variance to allow a temporary or permanent sign to cover more than 50% of the window glass in land lot 65 of the 19th district. The property is located on the south side of Dallas Highway, south of Schofield Drive. Is the applicant present? Applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V113? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good afternoon. If you will state your name for the record and then share with us the details of your variance request application.
Sure. Good afternoon. Brittany Schmidt here from Cawthorn, Owen, and Sanders on behalf of Burn Boot Camp Lost Mountain, who is the applicant on variance application 113. When I was here last, which was about 30 days ago, I presented to this board Burn Boot Camp's variance application, which is a variance from the signage requirements, both in the code and in the Dallas Highway design guidelines, that limit the window pane coverage of signage on their front glass of their business. Originally, we understood that those requirements were 50% or less of the window glass. After learning that this business is also located in the Dallas Highway design guidelines, we have learned that there is actually a bar of all of the window glass on the front of the business. We submitted our variance application to ask that the board consider allowing a variance for privacy and security purposes for the female members of the gym who exercise and who bring their children to childcare that is provided by the gym. Following the last variance hearing on this matter, you all kind of gave me some homework to look at the businesses in the area and to compare the need of this business to the language of the design guidelines. We did that. I submitted a memorandum to Mr. Boulogne as the representative from the district this business is located in, but then also to the rest of the board as well. That was submitted, give me one second, on December 1st. It specifies, I'll let it speak for itself, but it specifies as to why we believe that this business's signage does not serve the purpose of those Dallas Highway design guidelines. Those guidelines seem to be for advertisements that the guidelines seek to keep in a certain aesthetic. This business specifically is looking for a variance from those guidelines in order to provide security and safety to its members, not as a means of advertisement. I received a proposal back from the board that was that the gym would go to the front windows where the signage is and remove any vinyl that occurs at the 6-foot mark or higher. The thought process, I believe, behind that was that The average person then can't see over that 6-foot line and can't see into the gym where the children and the gym members are. In response to that proposal, my clients provided a mock-up of the front window glass. I have that with me today if you all would like to look at it. I did attach it to that email as well, I believe, but it shows a mock-up of those front windows that will adjust the vinyl on the glass to remain the same at the 6-foot line and lower, but at the 6-foot line and above will just be a plain blue vinyl. So it will remain covered, but it will remove any advertisement, and hopefully in doing so will serve the purpose of the Dallas Highway Design Guidelines and keep the aesthetic the same in the shopping center while still providing that privacy. And I do have those copies if you all want them.
If you will show that to us, that would be great.
Absolutely. And again, that's a mock-up from their sign person, so that has not been installed, but is a proposal to the board to try and meet a compromise.
Can you put it on the screen for us on the overhead?
Yeah, go grab one. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so if you look at that, right where that empower and positive is in the middle, that's actually below the 6-foot mark. They have asked for permission to do it this way so that the wording is not cut down the middle. If you take a look at the variance application, and if you want to slide this under there, this is the signage as it currently exists. So it shows that there's 3 rows of wording. They propose that they remove the top row in its entirety. The 6-foot mark that the board proposed previously would chop that top mark right in half. So they're proposing instead that they would remove that entire top row and replace it with just blue solid vinyl, which is the mock-up.
Is there anything else that you would like to share? You still have 4 minutes and 43 seconds.
No, that's all I have for you all, with the exception that I would say that we are very thankful to the board for considering this, for giving us some options moving forward. My clients are very willing to compromise and honestly just trying to get things in good graces and keep moving forward. So open to hearing any further suggestions of the board and happy to compromise if we can get there.
Since there is no opposition, we won't have you leave the podium. And I will, since our District 1 Commissioner also recused himself, I'll lead the discussion. And I'll kick it off to my fellow board members to see if they have any questions or concerns as presented. No questions or concerns? Okay, well then you can have a seat.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. With that being said, I will act as, instead of Commissioner Boulogne in this. I believe that we've reviewed it and we've discussed it in our work session and we feel comfortable. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this variance 113 with the proposed changes as shown.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by myself, Ms. Massey, and we have a second by Ms. Summerhour. Call to question. It passes 4-0 with Mr. Boulogne recusing himself. Mr. Peterson, will you call our next case into question or into record?
Next case is variance case V141, Jennifer Bergener.
I apologize, Mr. Peterson. If we will give Mr. Boulogne a moment to come back in, if we can call him back up, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. Is it better? We won't go on record to say that. A little humor there. Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, now we're ready.
Okay. Okay, moving into the cases that were pulled off consent. First one we're going to hear is variance case V141, Jennifer Bergener requests a variance to, one, allow for two accessory structures, which is garage number 1 and garage number 2, to be located on a residential property without a principal building. And number 2, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is garage number 2, from required 100 feet to 6 feet, adjacent to the northern property line in land lot 683 of the 19th District. The property is located on the east side of Old Villa Rica Road, north of Bagley Forest Drive. The applicant was present, and there's one person here opposed earlier. So all those who would like to address the board either for or against a variance case of V141, please come forward to be sworn in.
As you come forward, good afternoon. Please state your name for the record and share with us the details of your variance request.
My name is Thomas Dakota Bergener. I'm sorry, what?
And you can share with us the details of your variance request.
So I believe there's a bit of confusion here. We originally signed for the variance thinking the parcel was combined with the original parcel 3025 and the second parcel, which would be 3023. We applied long ago to have it combined. They came back after they gave us the variance and said that those parcels are separate. They're only combined for tax purposes. So the inspector came out and said, he already looked at the building, said they passed. He inspected it all, so we have the permit, we have the inspection and everything. This was for to get electrical ran to it. There was some miscommunication, I'm not sure where, but we do have emails showing that we talked to, I forget his name, David Collins, and to have it changed to electric. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us as to what it is that why do you need the electrical meter? Just more details about your variance so that we can understand what it is that you're requesting?
Yes, ma'am. So we have a 10-acre property combined with that one. And on the other side, we have buildings that are there. Basically, they're pole barns. We want to get electric ran to it so we can have lighting and a security system put in, because just lawnmowers, stuff like that. And that's really it. You can only have electric on your house. You can't have like just a lot with no electric meter unless your house is there. This technically is separated, so there's not a house on that property. So that was for the variance, just to get the electric ran for that.
Understood. Have you completed your testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, thank you. You can have a seat. We'll need to hear from your opposition next. As you come forward, if you will also state your name for us. That's okay. If you'll just lower the mic. There you go.
Hello, my name is Dawn Wright, and I live in back of Mr. Burgess, and his property is like right next to mine. And I don't understand a lot of the board commissioner zoning, so it's going to be 6 feet from my property, which is not even as big as the table. So I don't understand how it would affect my house and then my other neighbor's house. And when he builds this, is it going to be a lot of noise? Is it, there's a lot of trees back there. It's like a forest back there. If the trees happen to fall on my fence, because I just had my fence built, how would that affect me and my other neighbors? I know they're not here, but I need to find out a little more detail. Not that I'm opposed, but I need to know a little bit more about what he's doing.
You still have about 9 minutes. Does that conclude your testimony?
Sorry. He said it was just used for electrical. I want to be I want to know what it's used for. Why is that spot, because he has a lot of land, why is that spot the spot that he wants to put it on? Where else, does he have any other options to put it somewhere else closer to his house instead of near my property? What is the aftermath if something goes wrong? What would happen? The HOA says they don't have anything to do with it, so that's fine. Let's see, what else would I say? I think that's it. I don't know if I have any more time, but that's all the questions I have.
You still have 8 minutes. Please continue.
Okay, oh, will they need access to my property in order to build what they need to build? Because it's only 6 feet, so I'm right on that line there. Let's see what else I had. I think that's all I really had. Choose this spot. Will you have any effect? I think that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. You can have a seat for me.
Okay.
This case actually resides in District 4, which is my district. So I will lead this discussion. I actually feel before a discussion is had, I believe that the applicant and the opposition, the neighbor, need to have a conversation. So my motion will be to hold this until our next board meeting to allow both applicant and neighbor to converse about the specifics so that neighbor is clear as to the direction, how it will impact her property, what impact it will be daily from build to completion, et cetera, so that she has a full picture so that she can actually make an informed decision about her opposition. So that would be my motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Massey, a second by Mr. Boulogne. Calls a question. That motion passes 5-0 to hold V-141 for our next board meeting. Mr. Peterson, next case.
Okay, next case is variance case V-149, Trailside Equities LLC. Request a variance to reduce the front setback from required 45 feet to 35 feet in land lot 112 of the 20th District. The property is located on the east side of Little Port Lane, west of High Noontide Way. The applicant was present, and there was 2 people here opposed. All those who would like to address the board, either for or against variance case V-149, please come forward to be sworn in.
Good afternoon. As you come forward, please state your name for the record and share with us the details of your variance request application.
I'm Jordan Deeney. I'm the applicant on this property. We are looking to acquire this property. The difficulty with this property, as you can see, is it has stormwater running on one side of it, and it was platted this way originally. And then you have topography issues combined with the lot being on septic. So us being able to move the home forward a little bit on this cul-de-sac lot would help us to actually build a house here. Because we have some difficulties too with HOA requirements that we have to meet for home size. We cannot find a way to build a house on this lot without getting just a little bit more room, having septic and the contour issues. And I've got my engineer here with me as well to answer any more complex questions on this.
You still have 9 minutes if you would like to share any additional information or renderings or anything that might help us to understand what it is that you're trying to build and how would it impact that lot.
Do you have the site plan that we sent in with our application? I can share that, or,
If we can pull that up, please.
yeah, so that's a site plan that we submitted showing the proposed home and then septic locations as well. We just feel that we can't find a way to build a home there without getting just a little bit more room on the front, moving the home forward. So,
Okay, does that conclude your testimony?
yes,
All right, thank you so much. You may have a seat.
thank you.
I believe that there were parties in opposition. Please step forward. If you will state your name for the record, and you feel free, you have 10 minutes.
My name is Robert Sprayberry. Okay. My name is Robert Sprayberry. I live on High Noon Tide Way.
If you will pull the mic up just a smidget.
Okay. I live on High Noon Tide Way. I'm here to speak in opposition. There's several things going on with this lot that I think the board needs to be aware of. First off, there is a contour. This is a very, very steep lot. This is not something that you would think you'd readily put a house on. Secondly, there is a stormwater easement that comes down through the properties. There's a great deal of water that comes down. There's 8, I guess you'd call them manhole, or where the water goes into the street and then traverses under. This is like on the side of this property, it's almost like a natural retention pond that's been there for years and years. It's about 40 foot deep if you stand on the sidewalk looking down towards where the pipe goes. And they're talking about 12 feet setback from this stormwater retention. Now, I don't know accurately if the gentleman is building a house across the street, but I believe that that's the same individual. I went out there prior to coming here, and I took pictures on my cell phone. And it clearly states in our covenants that you can't, when it comes to drainage of the property, that, and I can read you the whole thing, or I can submit this however y'all would like. But basically, what the covenant says is you can't disturb it through siltation or anything else, this stormwater easement. And you can't violate that easement. But yet, I have pictures where the stormwater runs under the street and goes into the next stormwater section that leads to the Army Corps of Engineers property. And he's already violated the siltation of the covenants. That's the first issue. Secondly, the soils on that property are not good soils for septic. And that's the reason he's telling you he needs to move it forward so that he can gain at least 2 septic fields, my understanding. And with that being said, we know that he wants to put a pump in to pump up a steep hill to put the septic lines in. Now, we know that anything that is man-made is subject to failure. That subject to failure can lead to the contamination of our stormwater easement running down. I would hope that the board would see that it's unfortunate that the gentleman can't produce the house on the property as is, that he has to change it. But that's not our fault. And so we're asking the board to deny this variance for these reasons. And that's all I got.
Before you conclude your time, will you share with us the photos that you took, that you alluded to in your testimony?
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Before you take your seat, can you share with us the photos that you alluded to in your testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
There was another person in opposition. Did you care to speak as well? Okay, there is 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 56 seconds on the clock.
I won't take very long. My name is Linda Malevsky.
If you'll just give him one more second, I'm sorry, because I did ask him to show the pictures, but
Oh,
I will
okay,
give you
okay.
additional time, no worries. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
All right, this is across the street where the current storm water enters the property. And you can see that it's completely disturbed. And they were just in there, I believe, yesterday. And they just put in the 2 silt fences. And again, that's in violation of our covenants when they, push this down. And again, this is looking at the property that's currently under construction. And you can see that where the storm water collects and runs down. And here, if I can find it, if you can see, that's the piping. And again, this is very steep. This is almost straight down if you're standing on the curb. Now again, his property's to the left, but we're talking probably at least a 45-degree angle of that entire lot. So you're basically building it on the side of like a mountain or a steep, very steep hill. And then this is on the side of the stormwater where, again, coming up the hill, there are 8 of these on each side of the road. But that would indicate that there's an awful lot of water transferring from the neighborhood above that location down. And there's a volume of water that's coming the other way. So this basically is sitting in the valley. 12 feet, I don't believe it gives us enough room. And again, moving it forward, we're talking about, trying to make a square peg in a round hole through his own admission.
Thank you. I want to give the other opposition time. I apologize. I ran into your time a little bit, but you have 4 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Nope. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Linda Malevsky, and I live in the house that's right where they want to put that drainage field, right by that property line. You could see how close my house is to that drainage field. So I'm concerned about the value of my property. And
Can you share with us, I'm sorry, where your property is again?
it's right, that's my house right there.
Okay.
And so
Thank
the
you.
drainage field is right next to my house. So I just don't know how this is going to impact my property with that septic location. Also, I had a question regarding your approval was subject to stormwater management comments. What does that mean?
We can explain those things when you conclude your,
Yeah, I'm done.
okay, very good. If you will have a seat for us, please.
Okay.
This case does reside in District 3. We're going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll forward that to Ms. Summerhour to lead the discussion.
All right, Andrew, would you please come up and go over the stormwater comments?
Hello, Andrew Heath, Cobb County Stormwater Management.
Can you go over what the comments were?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a challenging lot. This is one of the maybe last couple of lots in the subdivision that haven't been built yet, probably because it is one of the more challenging lots. as some of the members of the opposition spoke about, it does have some pretty steep topography on the lot. And there is a drainage pathway you can see depicted on the site plan, kind of coming in there from the south and turning and crossing under Little Port Lane and flowing off to the west. I think some of the challenges that they have on this lot, aside from a stormwater standpoint, but kind of getting to the stormwater aspect, is that because they need to have a septic tank system on the lot, that's, I believe, why they were asking for the home to be moved a little bit forward toward Little Port Lane. And because the lot does have some aggressive topography toward that drainage easement, on the site plan, they're actually proposing a wall along the edge of that drainage easement. And one of the things that we asked them to do was to be sure that the wall doesn't accidentally get into the drainage easement, is to just move the wall a little bit away, a little bit further away from the drainage easement, just to give a little breathing room in there so they're not right up against it. Aside from that, that should keep construction on the site and that area there where the little drainage pathway is largely undisturbed during construction. And then, as they said, then because the home has moved forward a little bit, that would allow them to have the drain field there behind the house. So that's kind of how we approach that.
Okay, actually, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Heath. I believe this case, as listed, says it was in District 3, but it actually is in District 1. So, Mr. Boulogne, I'm going to defer to you to continue with Mr. Heath if you have questions.
Sure. What do you think a safe distance is from this area in terms of location of septic field, potential septic field, if any, if I understand that right? Sorry. If you could comment on the applicant's request and what you think an appropriate resolution is?
Yes. So the septic tanks, of course, and the septic field, that whole permitting process wouldn't be through stormwater management. That would be through the county's environmental health division of the health department.
Yeah.
But they would review it for the soil types and the overall topography and what it would require to build a septic tank there. So they would require the applicant to demonstrate that they could do that. In this case, because of where the drain field is proposed to be, which is on that most, I guess you would say, eastern part of the lot, it's about as far away as you could reasonably get it from that drainage path on the lot now. And so that's probably about, for this lot, is probably about the best solution. So, I think that my recommendation there with regard to the septic tank would be for the applicant just to continue to work with the health department, make sure they've got their requirements satisfied, and then that should be satisfactory.
But the groundwater would tend to run perpendicular to these contour lines, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you would just leave it all up to the health department to decide later?
At least with respect to the septic field, yeah, I would be reluctant to add additional requirements or something that might conflict with their base requirements, since that's not our area. So I would just recommend the applicant just work with them and just revise the plan, whatever's necessary in order to make the environmental health department folks happy and obtain the permit from him, and that would make me happy too.
Thank you. Anyone else have questions of Andrew? Okay. Thank you. My motion is going to be to hold this for a month to satisfy myself that there's not an environmental risk here by talking to Cobb Health about it.
We have a motion to hold. Is there a second? We have a second by Ms. Russell. Call to question. It passes 5-0, but we'll hold this until our next meeting. Next case, Mr. Peterson.
Okay, variance case V151, AOA Property Holdings Incorporated. Request a variance to, one, reduce the setbacks for a church within a residential zoning district, required 50 feet to 12 feet adjacent to the western and southern property line. And number two, waive the 50-foot landscape buffer required for a church within a residential zoning district to the encroachment shown on the site plan submitted in land lot 863 of the 17th district. The property is located on the south side of Lower Roswell Road and the terminus of Fredo Road. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V151? Okay, let the record show there's 12 people here in opposition. All those who would like to address the board, either for or against the variance case of V151, please come forward and be sworn in.
Since we do have so many in opposition, I would ask the opposition to maybe choose a few, as you will have a total of 10 minutes amongst all of you to express your opposition. All right, so now we'll get started with our applicant. If you will, we are familiar with you, but if you'll go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, my name is Kevin Moore, and I'm pleased to represent the applicant, AOA Properties Holdings, in this application for variance. My hope, and it truly is my hope, that those that have appeared here in opposition primarily have questions, and hopefully what can occur is through this presentation, they can receive answers to some of their questions that they may have, because I truly believe at the end of the day, the variance requests by this applicant are beneficial community-wide, especially given the proposed use. And I'll go through that because I think this is really one, as a variance application, that truly, truly deserves a positive reception from you as board members. First, the name of the applicant, AOA Properties Holdings. AOA stands for Archdiocese of Atlanta. So this is a property holding company of the Catholic Church, the Archdiocese of Atlanta, governing for the Catholic Church. So hopefully that will begin the understanding process here. On your screen, you see the property that's highlighted on Lower Roswell Road. It's just under 10 acres. Most people refer to this as the East Valley Elementary School. This is the former site of a Cobb County Elementary School, which had been in this location for 40, 50 years or more at this site on Lower Roswell. Ultimately, this site and the school was relocated by the Cobb County School District, and it was put up for sale and is now proposed to be purchased by the Archdiocese, the Catholic Church, for use as a church. And I hope that, number one, helps the understanding of what is proposed here before we even get to the variance requests, and that is that this former elementary school site, where neighbors have long grown used to the buildings, the site for use as an elementary school is proposed for simply a different type of institutional use, that being a church. That is all that's being proposed, is that the existing buildings and former elementary school would be now used by the Catholic Church for a church and for the typical church uses that you would see commonly associated with the Catholic Church. That, number one, I believe, is a hugely positive and beneficial aspect to this application, to the proposal overall, to not only the community on a broad sense, but individually to our adjoining neighbors, many of whom I have spoken to who had questions and who were able to reach out to me, and I was able to answer them. And that is, it is being proposed for a church, and the Catholic Church. It is not proposed for a change in use. It's not proposed for redevelopment. It's just proposed for repurposing the existing property for a church instead of a school. Now I'm going to turn to the site plan itself and explain the nature of the variances and why we're here. Thank you. Turning to the site plan, and actually this site plan, and this is an important part of the context and story as well. This is not so much as a site plan as it is what we refer to as an as-built survey. That is, this is a survey showing the as-built existing conditions of this Cobb County School District property, showing where the buildings are located, where parking is located, where even a playground area is located. The entirety of the site is shown on this plan, which is an as-built survey. What that reveals is that for a church use as opposed to the school district, which is not subject to Cobb County zoning ordinances, for a church use in this district, there's a requirement for a 50-foot setback and a 50-foot buffer. And we have that highlighted in red for you so that you can see where that would fall in place, and that is the 50 feet from the property line around the perimeter of the property. In this instance, there are a couple of circumstances where existing buildings, primarily here along the western boundary, where existing buildings would encroach into that 50-foot setback and buffer area, as well as along some improvements along the south side here as well that would encroach into that existing 50-foot setback and 50-foot buffer requirements. What we are proposing is not to do away with the 50-foot setback or a 50-foot buffer or the 50-foot buffer requirement in totality. Quite the opposite. What we are requesting is simply that the existing buildings, structures, and improvements be allowed to remain, and that the variances are thereby limited to only where you have existing encroachments in buildings as shown on this as-built survey and plan. Meaning approval of this variance does not allow for the church to build new structures that encroach into the 50-foot setback or 50-foot buffer on the eastern side or on any location on the property where there's not an existing encroachment today. The proposal from the church is not to tear down the school and rebuild a new building or facility or project. The intent of the church is simply to renovate the existing school buildings, primarily on the interior, to convert them, instead of having them set up for a school, they'll be set up for a church with some minor renovations to the outside just to kind of fix it up and do some deferred maintenance, but with very minor adjustments and renovations to the exterior. So the import of all of that to me is as a neighbor, as an adjoining neighbor, as an adjoining residential homeowner, your view will not change. Whatever you've seen for the last 50 or 60 years or however long the elementary school has been there will remain the same. We are not proposing to remove plantings, landscaping, existing vegetation in any of the areas. We're not proposing to build new structures that would encroach into the 50-foot setback or 50-foot landscape buffer. The school building itself and existing buildings will remain as is. So their view is not going to change from that standpoint, even with approval of these variances. Approval of this variances only allows for those existing few encroachments that are there today to simply remain in their current condition, and only to the extent that they're shown on this plan in areas, again, where there are not existing encroachments. The 50-foot setback and 50-foot buffer requirements for a church in a residential district must be adhered to and will be met in all circumstances. So the stipulation letter that we filed prior to today set that out. We wanted to make sure that for those that may be interested or who are concerned about what I was just speaking to, that we put that in writing, and we did. We put it in writing in our stipulation letter that the variances, if approved, were limited specifically to only those areas where those encroachments are today due to existing buildings and improvements, and no other. All other aspects would be met. In addition, we did update our stipulation letter this morning But that was as a result of receiving some information earlier this morning. There was a concern regarding on the south side or to the rear. When you're looking at the plan, this would be the back side or the bottom of the plan. We do have a detention pond that's located in the left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. There had been a concern that over the years, stormwater was not, from this site, was not being totally directed and managed and captured to go to the detention pond first. You had some stormwater, according to the reports, that was leaving this site onto adjoining residents' properties without going through the storm detention pond and then properly discharged. We have recognized that and also have agreed that we would construct a swale or berm or whatever directional type of measure that would need to be in place to ensure that stormwater is directed appropriately to the detention pond and that further the detention pond will be regularly maintained going forward. All subject, of course, to Cobb County Stormwater Management Division approval. But the impetus of that is with a church now as the owner of this property moving forward, it is their obligation to ensure that stormwater management is handled according to the rules and regulations. The foremost one of those being is that stormwater cannot just randomly leave your site or sheet flow off of your site, a developed site. It must first go to a detention pond or stormwater management facility. And we want to honor that requirement and have said so within our conditions, such that any approval of those variances would be subject to that condition to ensure stormwater is handled appropriately in this context. So again, hopefully these explanations have provided you a full context for the request, but more importantly, I hope that it's provided a much deeper and better understanding for those who have potential concerns about what could be happening, and now that they hopefully know what is exactly happening for this property. With that, we respectfully request your approval of these variances requests as submitted. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from opposition. You have a total of 10 minutes. Please state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is John Hansen, and I live on the east side of the property noted here. I'm very happy to learn that there was a church moving into this area. I think they'll be very good neighbors. I was concerned when I received notice of the variance about the 50-foot setback and the green space buffer being waived, but based on what Mr. Morris said, I'm very encouraged that he plans to leave that buffer in place except for existing structures. I have not seen that in writing. It didn't come in our letter, but if that could be codified into the variance, then I and my neighbors to the east, I believe we have no objections. And with that, I'll yield my time to the next neighbor.
Thank you. If you will, as you come forward, state your name for the record as well.
Okay, thank you. My name is Andrew Beldicos. I live at 2559 Sunny Lane, which is the lower left side of the property, south end there, right behind the retention pond. My biggest concern, as has been stated, was the stormwater drainage from that property. It has flooded my yard. I have a 24-inch wide by 8-inch deep gully through my front yard that was created by stormwater runoff from the property because the berm that was originally put in place when the retention pond was built has washed away over the years. It was put in about 25 years ago. It was a small berm, about a foot high, just dirt, and it washed away. So what I heard today is very encouraging. Again, I'd like to see it in a letter form or some kind of formal document that we can refer to. But I'm satisfied if they will do that, then my biggest concerns are addressed. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in opposition? There is about 7 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. And we'll wait for you. You don't have to rush. You'll state your name for us.
My name is Carolyn Warner. I live at 2542 Friardale Road. I'm on the side of the south side, I think he called it, the end of Friardale Road that goes to the property. And I want to address the stormwater problem. The water flows down my backyard. The school installed a pipe across my backyard and two neighboring homes. The pipe is broken and there are dangerous holes in my backyard. A representative from Cobb County Stormwater came and appraised the problem. I have a video of the water flowing across my backyard. I offered to get a still picture, but this was his reply. Although I appreciate the effort, I do not think the picture will be necessary. With the detention pond being installed, it is obvious a fair amount of drainage is directed towards that area, my backyard. We are one of the last $300,000 to $400,000 communities in East Cobb. In a recent hearing, even Attorney Moore commented about this price point, saying, "You don't hear that very often today." We're just trying to solve the problems that were left maybe by the school, but I also contacted the church before they made a complete offer to say, come and look at our problems that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. There is about 5 minutes and 58 seconds left. Please also introduce yourself to us.
Hello, Board. I'm Robert Clark. I live on the east side of the property, 2600 Pine Springs Lane, southeast. I am a member of the Archdiocese of Atlanta, and the things that were stated earlier today, very promising. We haven't seen that in writing yet. I'd also like to say that we do have a water flow problem on the bottom right-hand corner, where there's a swale that goes into the stormwater drain, the main stormwater drain for that entire area. I would ask that that gets addressed and concerned. And also on the top right, there is a hard pack, so it's non-permeable parking lot. If that is in the existing structures and we maintain that 50-foot landscape buffer, I think the residents on the east side are very comfortable with that. We couldn't ask for a better neighbor in the Archdiocese of Atlanta. We just want to make sure that basically our houses don't wind up flooding. So that's the big thing that we're worried about. So I appreciate the board's time, and thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in opposition? All right, we will formally close this public hearing for this case, and because this resides in District 3, we will turn it over to Ms. Alice Summonauer.
All right, Kevin, would you please come forward? I just wanted to publicly thank you for being so receptive to updating the stipulation letter to reflect the stormwater issues that were brought to my attention this morning. Are you familiar with the pipe that the neighbor was?
Yes, we're familiar that the detention pond and stormwater is an item that will have to be accommodated. Like I said, they'll have to look into that along with Cobb County Stormwater and determine what it will take to make it function properly as the new owner of the property. I'm not speaking ill of Cobb County School District. They do a wonderful job with their facilities, but I know that from the church's standpoint, they're going to have to do that without question for their own sake, which is why we made sure we included that in the letter and addressed it specifically, so that the folks here who share or have that concern will know that any approval has that specifically, that will be addressed appropriately.
All right, I want to let y'all know, the opposition, that all of this has been codified in a updated stipulation letter as of this morning. What you've heard is what's going to happen. That's where we're at, and I hope that we've addressed your concerns regarding setbacks and stormwater and what's going to happen to the building and all that. So Is there any further questions or comments by the board?
Ms. Summerall, could I answer one other question
Sure.
that came up that I didn't get a chance to from the last gentleman who spoke, specifically on the eastern side or the right side, and you can see it better here. There's a small gravel area at the front, kind of the top right. It's a leftover gravel area that was there close to the entrance of the school where some mobile classroom trailers had been located that were removed, and so it's still a gravel area. Our letter that we're referencing here, again, one of the stipulations that we've included was that for that gravel area, we will either make it hardened surface in accordance with Cobb County standards, which require hardened surface if it's going to be parking, or that the gravel area will be picked up, removed, landscape grassed, and the buffer established in that location. We're just not able to determine as of yet. It'll be further into the project which one. Most likely, probably the latter, that it would be pulled up. But we just wanted to make sure that folks were aware we have an answer for that specific issue so that it can be handled in an appropriate manner. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Sure. Sure.
I have a quick question. So in helping all the neighbors with the stormwater issue, and it's amazing what this this church is going to be improving on this property. I just want, you will be working with our Cobb County Stormwater, Andrew Heath?
Yes.
In addressing the issues, how to work these issues to solve their problems that we haven't been able to touch because it was in the school district. Is that correct?
That's precisely correct.
Okay.
And
Great,
it says
thank
so
you.
in our letter.
It does,
That
it
it
states that.
references specifically that's subject to Cobb County Stormwater Management Division approval, so that they're involved intimately in those decisions and work.
Thank you, that's awesome.
Thank you for your question.
All right, anything further from anyone? If not, I would like to make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's pause. Barkley had a question. Go ahead.
Should we hold until all these letters have been finalized and the community has a chance to see them before we vote on this matter?
I'm totally comfortable with the stipulation letter.
Okay.
He's elaborated several.
So can you?
You
I
don't
think
have it, is that what we're saying?
If you would include the stipulation letter in your motion?
Yes,
That will take care of that for
All
us.
right, I would like to approve V 151 that includes and incorporates the updated stipulation letter from this morning and make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Can I have a second?
A second.
Have a second by Ms. Swanson. Call to question. It passes 5-0.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. We also have to, thank you, adopt a resolution for the dates and times of the Board of Zoning Appeal hearings for the calendar year 2026. Can I have a motion after review of these dates? Okay.
I make a
Hold on,
motion.
hold on.
Oh.
Power went out. Power went out. We did. We did. We almost made it. So we need to vote on the 2026 meetings for the variance hearings for 2026. Can I have a motion for
So moved.
second, please?
Second.
Call to question. It passes 5-0 to approve the calendar for 2026. And I think the final thing that we need to do also is to approve the minutes from our work session and also from the previous variance meeting. Can I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved. Second.
All right, motion approved and seconded. Can call to question? And that approves 5-0. And can we please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second to adjourn. We are done. Thank you, everyone.